Well, here we are playing War of the Ring, and it's come to one of those situations where somebody has to blink. Aragorn has moved his entire force back to Minas Tirith. There is no way that the Fellowship player can win unless the Sauron player loses in a battle at this point. By withdrawing to there, you can say there's no military victory chance, and there's no chance of finding the hobbits who are hiding in the middle of Mordor and unable to move. If they move, they're in danger. So Sauron decides, okay, the game's got to continue. I'm going to move forward, see if I can take this. And this is a problem to me in the game. Is, yeah, I could reach out and attack every single one of the other territories that has to be taken. Now, the Fellowship cannot win. I couldn't make a stab forward and try to take Barad-dûr. Probably doesn't have enough leaders to take Orodruin and defeat the Nazgul there in the chance that they get found, and trying to slip just one or two characters in to try to, you know, get by the Nazgul. Dangerous play there. Doesn't seem worth the risk. So we're in this kind of stasis situation, and the question here becomes, well, will the numbers work out? And I'm just going to test it and see. You know, I'm not going to count it up and try to see, should the Dark Lord just sit there? What does it mean if he dies? What does the game mean? So he's got to put these under siege, he's got to attack, and then he can start pushing more and more troops in each turn. We'll see. So for the first round of this battle, adding everything up, the tripled value of our good old good player is 843. He has 281 strength points here. The evil player has 410. He was able to get into the space at this point. That means it's going to be actually a 1-to-3 battle. I was hoping it would only be 1-to-2. There's a pretty good chance if I could have gotten a little bit more strength in, but I didn't have enough shadow points to get that all in. And you can never really tell how much you could get in. So let's see what we've got here. Well, first we've got our powerful Lord of the Nazgul with his bee sorcery. Let's see if he can help things. Because 1-to-3 does not look very pleasing, but if I can get a high roll, it's not bad at all. Okay, so with the bee, I get level 2 sorcery. That means I'm going to be one level above Aragorn. Aragorn's at 4, plus 1 for Anduril puts him at 5. Alright. And now, that means we're at plus 1 on the 1-to-3 table. Still not very good. I need a fairly high number to come out ahead here, like a 5 to come out ahead, but I can keep pulling more troops in. I get a 6, which is a 7, 20% in a kill. We lose another. Oh no, there goes Merry. Ah! Another one of the hobbits goes under in this battle. And we've got, what, a 20% hit on 281. That's going to be, what, 56, some 60 strength points going away, which will hurt him tremendously. Now, here's the thing. The Fellowship only fights one round here. He could come out on his own turn and attack, but there's no value to that. And things are just going to start getting worse now. So after that 60-point loss, this is probably a Dark Power win, which means the Fellowship may make an attempt at the ring victory at this point. And indeed, the Fellowship is going to take their chance at this point. They think they cannot win now after that round of battle. If it had gone well for them, which there was a fair chance of, if it had gone well for them, then, well, maybe they come out and try to fight the Lord of the Nazgul and beat him away. Or perhaps they're able to get, you know, enough. I don't know. Really, the only option would be that it went well enough that they could come out and fight. Because there's going to be this continuous flow of forces coming in. Do they have to move now is the question. Will things be any worse at a later point? And I think the answer actually is no. And they're beginning to look at it and say, you know, as long as the military victory is not possible right now, on this turn, it makes sense to hold off still and keep holding off. And that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to wait and they're going to see and force Sauron to play again and again and again. So it's still not great numbers for the Dark Lord here, and that's one of the reasons for holding off. It's 489 to 663, down to the 1 to 2 table, but we got the Lord of the Nazgul casting his spells, and Saruman's not far away with his forces. Now, once he reaches, next turn, I think I have to start making attacks on things like Hobbiton and Thranduil's Palace to bring that risk a little closer to the Fellowship player and make him take his chance. But for now, let's make our roll for the magic. And it's a 6, that's +3. That means it's going to be a +2 here on the 1 to 2 table. That puts it at 5. We're going to see 10% losses for the Dark Lord, 20% for the Fellowship. That's about equal in total effect. The Fellowship's going to lose 44 strength points, the Sauron player 49. But the real percentages are still there. The fact that the defender is losing a higher rate is reflected, maybe not in sheer numbers, but in the combat odds. It will show up that way. Alright, I'll take care of these. At least we didn't end up with a character loss this time. But really, there's not a lot for the Fellowship player to do here, except eventually make his chance and try to break through. Another turn, and the odds are still slightly below 1 to 1. The Dark Lord's at 519 total. He just keeps growing. And the Fellowship's at 531, including their tripled value. However, Dark Lord's going to throw Orcs in a State of Battle Frenzy. This is going to give him an extra 2 to his die roll in battle. That's going to increase his chances of having a powerful effect in this. So, let's see his magic first. He's got Saruman with him, but Saruman is not a better wizard in this than the Lord of the Nazgul, so I might as well use him. It's a 2-point. That gives him a +1 over Aragorn to begin with. +2 more for the Orcs brings him to +3 total on the 1 to 2 table. So it's a fairly good chance at a high hitter here. But it's only a 1, which is 4. 20/20, he's going to be doing a character casualty though. So we're going to see 20% on each side. That's a lot. Like 100 and something troops for the Dark Lord. But it works out the same, even though it's only, what, 20, is it? About 40 troops for the, what are we at, 18, it's going to be 36 for the Fellowship, but 36 tripled puts it over 100 as well for the net effect. So this isn't going to really affect things at all. And the Dark Lord's kind of running out of troops that he can pour into this. That's his problem. Alright, well, let's see what we got. Okay, so the Sauron player was able to bring enough forces into play to get himself up to 1 to 1. I don't remember what I pulled up. It was 15 more, which I think brings me to 430 here. That's to 141, which times 3 is going to be 423. So slightly more than I had. And now we roll the Lord of the Nazgul again. See his sorcery. The one other thing I did with my points, moved the Mouth of Sauron close to Thranduil. I'm not quite ready to start my attack. This is really expensive actually to make these attacks on the other territories. And then that activates all the troops there, which is also painful. Spell power not very good, just +1. That ties me with Aragorn. So I'm on the 1 to 1 table at even, which is probably actually about as bad as I've been. Let's see what I roll. A 4, 20% each. and another character loss. We lost Gimli last time. Who are we losing now? Let's take Imra Hill. What a pity. And we're just running out of characters like mad here. Yeah, pretty soon it's going to be Aragorn's turn to die. And that's really the sign, you know, if it comes to that. But right now, even losses can probably still stand out and try to hope that the Dark Lord makes a mistake, ends up triggering things here that they can't afford, or something. Something has to break. Just got to keep waiting. Maybe a card will get drawn. So far, nothing's been drawn that helped. But say those orcs had been drawn by the Fellowship player. Well, that would be a -2 to the die roll instead of a +2. And it might be enough to swing the battle's tide so that things become much, much more difficult. We'll see. Well, we're opening things up with an attack up on Thranduil's palace by the Mahalt of Sauron. He has some 58 strength points left, and he's hitting Thranduil, who has 20. It's going to be a 2-to-1 attack, but Thranduil has no magic. He's not a sorcerer here. He's got a good leadership rating, though. Better than the Mouth of Sauron. The Mouth gets to roll his sorcery, which is a C, and he needs at least a 3 to come out even here. He doesn't get it, so he's going to be at -1 on the 2-to-1 table. -1 puts him at 0. He takes 30% losses with that, what did I say, 58? That's a pretty heavy loss. He failed here, basically. And now the troops are going to start coming in the north for the elves to see if they can maybe handle a situation that otherwise is going very poorly for the Fellowship. This is something that probably seldom happens. Let's see what we get here. 58 times 30%, I don't know, 5.8, 10, 11.6, 16, 17.4. It's going to be 17 troops. And then, but here's the thing. He can keep attacking. He can keep attacking. And that's the problem facing Thranduil. 17 off of 25 means we're going to have 8 men left. Does this add up? 30, 33, 38, 39, 40, 41. Still 2-to-1 against Thranduil. Still at -1. He'll come again. And this time he gets a better roll. It's 10% each way. And see, here's the thing. Thranduil is killed by a single bad roll. It's not going to happen yet. But 10%, hey, that's 1 elf, right? No big loss. He's still in pretty good shape here. But he's killed fairly easily. And then on the other hand, he's also, if he leaves the palace, he loses that victory condition at that moment. And it becomes a matter of something he has to dig out the enemy in. And that makes it harder too. We had 10% here as well at 25, 30, 33, 41. He's going to lose 4. Take some orcs and some men. And now, it's what, 37? 9 times 3, 27. That's not quite 2-to-1 anymore, is it? No, 9 times 2, sorry, 18. It's still a 2-to-1. It's still at -1. That gives us a 2. And that's going to cause more losses to the attacker, but Thranduil's dead. Bang. Whole flavor changes. I think I'm going to stay there. I'll be back in a moment. So now the numbers are only 1-to-1. Sounds like it's an advantage, except without the leader, there's a +2 bonus. Now I'm going to keep fighting this because I don't know why. I can't do better than the attacker. Yeah, I got to give it up. I got to give it up and hope that I can gather forces that can defeat the mountain. Now, I can't defeat him. I have to defend. I've got to try to weaken him as much as possible for those other forces. Alright, so 1-to-1 it is indeed. At +2 to the die roll. And a 7, 30% losses. And here we're seeing the 8 times 3 is 24. They're going to lose 2 more elves. We're seeing why you can't do this. 24, we're back down to 2-to-1. 2-to-1 at a +2, unlikely to have an effect. I'm going to stay fighting because any effect I have is better than what I'm going to have as an attacker in a little while. 2-to-1 +2 is 3. Both sides take 20%, and I'll come back and show you how bad off whatever the elves can do in damage defending their home here to the Mouth of Sauron. Okay, so the mouth is down to what? 10, 12, 14, 19 strength points. The elves stayed and fought an extra round, just hoping to cause a point of damage. It didn't happen. Well, it would be 2 points with a 10% loss. Didn't happen. So now we're going to go over here, and nobody's got cards of interest here either. Lord of Nazgul has his B sorcery rating. He gets 2 levels added, which puts him 1 higher. 344 to 339, that's 1-to-1 at +1. And there we get a 5, 10% to 20%. The attacker's taking less. The defender's going to take 20%. That's going to be a big hunk of his force, and he's just degenerating as well. Let's see how bad that is. Well, the effect of that last turn, marching into Thranduil's palace, that's been to activate all these allies up here. And making a move against Brand with his strong force doesn't seem worthwhile. So we're going to keep the Mouth of Sauron on defense. But the Chief of the Dunlendings made an attack on Hobbiton. Now there's a whole pile of light units here at Hobbiton trying to defend that. Sort of a last gasp move there. And then we've got the big fight. Now here's the problem. The Sauron player doesn't have enough force to dispatch to take Dol Amroth and still keep his siege. I mean, he's got it, but he's only got like 40 extra strength points, which one bad roll could get rid of. Now, right now, he's got this huge army at Dol Guldur, but Celeborn's moving still within range, and he can't afford to lose Dol Guldur either. He can't lose any of his citadels. He can't lose any of his locations. So he can't really strip forces away to do other things, and he can't give people up from here. So his strategy of making these attacks at this point may not be really working. Let's see what we got here. 5, 10, 11 to 30. Now it's a town, so I think that 11 is actually doubled. Yeah. So that's a 1-to-1. We've got the Chief of the Dunlendings, though. That's +3 to the battle roll. And that's probably going to mean that the little hobbits aren't going to last long. 7. Oh, look, they take 30% losses. You know, this is the problem. 30% of 11. Hey, there go the Bree folk. So now we're down to 8. 16 to 30. Still 1-to-1. I'm still going to go for it. With its +3. 9, even worse. 50% losses. And that's going to be, out of 8, that's going to be 4. So let's give them 2 humans. There. And now it would be 8 to 30, which is going to be a 3-to-1. He's got to get out of there. He just doesn't have a chance. he can use those forces maybe somewhere else to threaten something else. Right now, they can't do their job up in Hobbiton. And now over here, well, we got the continuous battle going on. Lord of Nazgul, his B sorcery. He gets 1, that means he's going to beat even. This is still a 1-to-1 attack, so this could go poorly for him. But it does not. He causes 20% casualties to the Fellowship with its 90 strength points. That's going to be 18 losses. That's going to start really cutting into what they're able to do. It might be time where the Dark Power player can go after Dol Amroth too.